Yeah, good morning, students. Once again, a warm welcome to the Computer Networks online session. With the last video, we successfully completed unit number 1 in computer networks. Due to some pandemic situations, last 3 videos was posted by Mr. Sriram Murthy sir. So continuation to the first 3 videos. So with the last video, the difference between TCP, IP and OSI layers, we successfully completed unit number 1. Now, in this lecture, we completely discuss the overview of unit number 1. So, what unit number 1 consisting of? So, there in unit number 1, first 3 videos posted by me, and rest of 3 videos introduction to networks and what is OSI uh, reference model, and what is TCP/IP reference model, and what is the difference between OSI and TCP reference models. Those 3 videos are posted by Sriram Murthy sir. So now it's the video, the mixing of all 6 videos which we posted earlier. So this is the overview of unit number 1. So here in this video, so we start with the introduction of computer networks. So we already discussed earlier in the first video what is the basics of computer networks. So a network is a set of devices. Here the devices may be either the computer or laptop or printer, whatever it may be. So which is called it as a nodes. So a computer network is a set of devices connected by communication links. So here the device may be a computer or printer or any other device. So they have to be communicating by using a communication link, then it is called it as a network. So these are some basics required for computer networks. So router, hub, bridge, so wireless router, switch, and wireless bridge. These are the essential needed devices in the computer networks. So what is meant by node? So a node can be a computer or some other device such as printer that can receive or create or store or send data along a distributed network routers. That is the node. So a work group is a station peer-to-peer network using common software. So a work group means a group of devices connected systems to access shared resources. For example, one printer is available, four systems are there. So that is the shareable resource to the systems. So four systems are using same printer. So if the printer is the shareable resource. Otherwise, you guys are sitting in the system number 1, and your friend is sitting in the system number 32. So you want to transmit data without internet. You want to transmit data from system number 1 to system number 32, which is possible by sharing information from one device to the another device. So all these belongs to the work groups. So networking is a process of communication between two or more remote parties that involves that connection of computers or media or networking devices. And a host is a computer or other device. It may be a printer or laptop, whatever it may be. It is called it as a host. And workstation is a computer which is dedicated to a user or group of users engaged in a business or professional work. That is called the workstations, like servers. Workstations means. So, what are the different advantages of networking? So, easy communication, file data and information sharing, resource sharing, increase storage capacity, reduce cost, and save time. So, we all discussed this in the lecture number 1, video lecture 1. So, these are the different types of connections. Network is classified into two types. One is the network hardware, and the second one is network software. First one is network hardware, and second one is network software. So there are two types of connections: point-to-point connection and multi-point connection. So device to device, A to B is called point-to-point connection. Multi-point, multiple devices are connecting to one particular router is called multi-point connection. So these are the types of networks: peer-to-peer network and client-to client server networks. So peer-to-peer network is one in which two or more PCs share files and access to devices such as printers without requiring a separate server. There is no separate server is required. That what the example we discussed earlier. So there are five systems are there. Only one printer is available. All these five systems are using the printer capacity that is called peer-to-peer network. But client server network, a server is needed to transmit data. So that is a client server model where client request for a service to a server and server replies according to client request. That is the difference between peer-to-peer and client server. So these are the types of communications. There's the different modes of data, how the data is transmitted: simplex mode, half duplex mode, and the full duplex mode. In simplex mode, only sender sends the data and receiver receives data. So one-way direction, unidirectional data transmission is possible. In half duplex mode, both can transmit. So both are acting as a senders and receivers, and both are acting as a source and destinations. If sender one sends data and second one receives the data, then after the second one transmits the data and first one receives the data. Here the both acting as a, so here the bidirectional is possible, but within the same time is not possible. So but not at the same time. So that is called half duplex mode. And the third one is full duplex mode. So bidirectional is possible at a time. So sender A wants to transmit data to B and B wants to transmit data to A. Both is possible at a time in same clock rate. That is called full duplex mode. So these are the three types of communication modes: simplex mode, half duplex mode, and the full duplex mode. And the next very important topic is network topology. So a topology is nothing but a geographical representation of a network. So how the devices are connecting, what is their geographical representation, where it locates, what is the structure of that particular network, that will be easily we can identify by using this network topology method. So the different topologies are there. We already discussed in video number 2. Bus topology, ring topology, star topology, extended star topology, mesh topology. The different topologies are there. So before going to discuss the topologies, first we want to know about what is the basic thing of topology. What is meant by topology? Simply, a topology is nothing but a structure. So what type of structure? So network is connected. So n number of devices are connected to a network. So what is the structure of those particular n devices? It may be a bus, it may be a ring, it may be a star. So how these devices are connected? So the geographical representation, geographical means where it locates in that particular place. That is called geographical representation. So the geographical representation of network is called topology. So these are the different types of topologies: bus, ring, star, extended star, and mesh topologies. Every topology must have its advantages and disadvantages. That what we discussed there in the video number 2. So bus topology is very much easy topology. So here the nodes, devices are nodes connected in this way. So these are the devices connected to a bus. I think you guys covered one bus topic that is there in computer organization, so which is used to communicate all the functional units of a computer. So in a digital computer, all the peripheral devices and the functional units are communicating with one another by using a bus. So there you covered system bus and like that here also a bus topology is connecting n number of nodes in this way. This is the structure of bus topology. It is quite easy to set up if one station of the topology fails, it does not affect the entire system. If this system fails, there is no problem for the rest of all systems. So that is the main advantage of bus topology. If one system fails, it doesn't affect the another system. But the disadvantage is if any break in the bus, that means here, if there is any break here, if you observe this, if there is any break in the bus, automatically it difficult to identify. That is the disadvantage. So some advantages are there as well as some disadvantages are there. Bus topology. In bus topology, that is also a network. Here in bus topology, the devices or the nodes are connecting in this way. So this is the geographical representation. So this is the structure. Systems are connecting in this way. That is bus topology. And second one is the star topology. Here a central node is there in star topology. So in that central node, the main advantage is it offers flexibility of adding and deleting workstations. So it's a bit easy to adding and deleting workstations by using this central node. But the major disadvantage is if the central node fails, automatically the entire system is collapsed. So that is the main disadvantage of star topology. The central node, main node. And next one is the ring topology, simply in circular way. So very much easy to connect. The advantage is that any single transmission, one-way transmission is running here. The disadvantage is if breakdown of any one station in ring, that can disable the entire system. If this node is failed, automatically it affects the entire system. If this node is failed, automatically it affects the entire system. So that is the main drawback of ring topology. And next one is tree topology. So systems are connecting in this way. And mesh topology. So mesh topology, so one to many, from here to this way, like in this way. So the entire action is established. That is mesh topology. So tree topology and mesh topology. So we covered this in the lecture number 2. Now network. So local area network, LAN. So network is used to interconnect computers in a single room, a room within a building or buildings. That's what we discussed in the video number 3. So some certain area, the area means less than 1 kilometer range, certain room or one building, or between the buildings in certain area, that is called for that particular network connection purpose we are using these local area network LAN. The best example for these LAN connection is if you guys are observing in our ground floor lab and first floor lab, in our all computer labs are designed by using these LAN structured. So LAN transmits data with a speed of several megabytes per seconds, and the transmission medium is normally coaxial cables. So I think you guys observe there in our labs. So a coaxial cables with the pins are there in our labs for our systems. For data transmission purpose, we are using the coaxial cables for the physical connection establishment purpose. Um, Not only in our laboratories, if you guys are observing whatever our smart classrooms have, every projector there, a system is there. In every projector room in our college must consisting of a LAN connection. That is a coaxial cable is there for the data transmission purpose. It's a bit easy if all the devices are connecting to a LAN, which is possible to transmit data from one location to another location without internet. And the transmission medium is normally the coaxial cables, and LAN links computers in the same area of the purpose of sharing information. Usually the LAN links computers within a limited geographical area because they must be connected by a cable. That's what we already discussed. Here we are using a cable for the connection. For that, the range may be a bit low. That means maximum a kilometer. Within a kilometer range, we can connect all the systems by using LAN. If it is extended more than 1 kilometer, it's a bit difficult task to extend the wire, the cable wire. So here for LAN connection, we are using the coaxial cables and the wires. So these wires are using to connect one device with one node with the another node, and which is quite expensive. So people working in LAN get more capabilities in data processing and work processing and other information exchange compared to standalone computers. These are LANs. So these LAN connections are allowed these topologies, bus and ring topology. And metropolitan area network, MAN, the second one. So more than 1 kilometer range within the cities. We guys are preferred MANs. So why? Because LAN is preferred for one room or one building or within 1 kilometer range. If more than 1 kilometer range within area, that means within city limits, we prefer the metropolitan area network, MAN network. It is a bigger version of LAN. MAN is a bigger version of LAN. I think the best example for these metropolitan area network is cable connection. For example, in Guntur city, one particular cable office is there. So there, a big antennas are there. It receiving signals from the satellite communication. Thereafter, it can transmitting the those particular signals via cables to the entire city. So that is called metropolitan networking connections are there. So it might cover a group of nearby offices, maybe either private or public. So a man just has one or two cables and does not have any switching elements when compared with LAN. So the main reason for even distinguish MANs is that is a standard has been adopted, and the standard is now being implemented. So this one. So the architecture of DQDB consists of two unidirectional buses to which all computers are connected. So there in LAN, one unidirectional data transmission, but here in the MAN, two unidirectional buses to which all computers are connected. Each bus has a head end and device that initiate transmission activity. So the key aspect of MAN is a broadcast medium to which all computers are attached. And finally, the wide area network, the largest geographical area, often a country or between the countries, the connection has to be establishing by using these wide area networks. It contains a collection of missions for running user applications called hosts and the end users. Here, the hosts are connected by communication subnet or subnet. So the subnet carries messages from host to host. For communication aspect, the subnet, application aspect, host. For communication aspect, here the subnet, and for application aspect, here the hosts are placed here in the wide area network. Please note down this point. For communication aspect, we are using subnets, and the application aspect, we are using hosts, and as well as we are using routers here. The switching element of specialized computers used to communicate two or more transmission lines. These are called routers. So this is about the wide area network. So in this way, data packets has to be transmitting from the sender to the receiver, from one location to the another location, like by using internet like that, right? So you can go through with video number 3 for a better understanding of this wide area network. So these are different types of network, and the network next one is the network software. So it is a highly structured protocol hierarchies. There are some design issues, so connection oriented and connectionless services and service primitives and relationships of service to the protocols. These are all the network software. There are two types of network that what we discussed in the earlier part. One is network software, second one is network hardware. So here in the network software, so these are the some important aspects we have to cover here. Protocol hierarchies, design issues, so connection and connect oriented and connectionless services and service primitives, and the relationships of the service protocols. Yeah, these are the protocol hierarchies. So we covered this in the video number 4. That in the past videos, protocol hierarchies, how the layer connection. So this is the source mission and this is the destination mission. So layer 1 to layer 5. So here different protocols are using there in every layer. So what is meant by protocol? That what we discussed in the earlier. A protocol is a set of instructions. a protocol is a set of instructions to establishing a communication between two devices. A protocol is much needed. For that purpose, we already discussed one example. If you have to be establishing a communication between two devices, or you have to establishing a communication between two devices, if one person is speaking in French and another person is speaking in German, how the communication is establishing between those two persons? If they both have to be communicating with one a common protocol, then only the data transmission is possible. Likewise, here also, if two devices are communicating by using protocol, here the protocol means a set of rules. So it has to be designed for some certain purpose. There is a purpose is designed for that particular protocol. The role of and the work of that particular protocol is it has to work in that manner only. So that is the role of protocol. Some certain rules are designed for every protocol. So in every layer, there are some certain protocols are there. That what we have discussed in next slide. So these are some design issues. So addressing, error control, flow control, multiplexing, and routing. All these are some design issues for the layers. Whenever we have to be transmitting data via the layers from one to the another, so these are some design issues occurred. Addressing issues, rules of data transfers, error control, flow control, multiplexing, and routing. These are some. So there are two types of connections are there. One is connection oriented, second one is connectionless. The best example for the connection oriented is telephone system, and the best example for the connectionless is postal system. The best example for the connection oriented is telephone, and the best example for the connectionless is postal system. So to use of a connection oriented network service, the service user first establish a connection, use the connection, and then release the connection. First, they have to establish a connection and use the service of connection, and then release the connection. But coming to the connectionless, each message carries the full destination address and each one router through the system independently of all the routers. When two messages sent to the same destination, the first one sent will be first one to arrive. If first one is delayed, the second one arrives first. But in the the difference between connection oriented and connectionless is in the connection oriented, the message one what we have to be delivered first. But coming to the connectionless, there is no guarantee of the message one reached destination first. Why? Because it has to travel in different way, it has to touch different routers every way. It consisting of entire address. The address is read there, then after it moving from one location to the another location, like postal card. For example, in the same time at morning of 23rd we posted a letter, and then 24th we posted another letter. Is there any guarantee of the card which we posted on 23rd reaches first to the destination? There is no guarantee in the connectionless. That is the example of postal system. But coming to the a telephone system, that is connection oriented system, the whichever the packet we have to be transmitted, whichever the data we send it first, that reaches to the destination first, that is the connection oriented service. So these are the some primitives, and with that meaning listen, connect, receive, send, disconnect, and its meanings. Listen means block waiting for an incoming connection. Connect, establish a connection. Receive, block wait for an incoming message. Send a message, and disconnect, terminate a connection. So these are some service protocol relationships. And finally, and the very most important one, OSI reference model. I think this topic is covered by Sriram Murthy sir in the previous video number, lecture number 4 and 5 related to OSI reference model. Why? Because which is the heart of computer networks. The OSI reference model and these 7-layer architecture model is the, excuse me, the 7-layer architecture model is the heart of computer networks. So from here onwards, you guys studied unit number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So unit number 2 is one layer, unit number 3 is one layer, and unit number 4 is one layer, unit number 5 is one layer, and unit number 6 is one layer. So that is the importance of OSI reference model in the computer networks. So compulsory, most probably, Each of there are 4 sets are there for you for your external examination pattern. Mostly in one set, this question is guaranteed from the unit number 1. That is the importance of OSI reference model. And not only the examination point of view, the heart of the computer networks is the OSI reference model. If you guys learn this reference model well, then it is good for your entire networking area, traveling area, and as well as upcoming subjects which related to the networks, everything related to this OSI reference model. First of all, what is OSI reference model? OSI stands for Open System Interconnection. OSI stands for Open System Interconnection, which will developed by ISO, International Standard Organization. So that's why this model is called as a ISO OSI reference model. ISO is the developer and OSI is the name. OSI stands for Open System Interconnection. So as the name suggests, Open System Interconnection. This is the standardization of a network. If a node, what we discussed in the earlier, the node may be a computer, the node may be a laptop, or the node may be a printer, or whatever it may be. So whatever the related network devices are designed by using these standards, then they have to be work in everywhere in the world. For example, I'm connecting my laptop to a printer here in India. Due to some reasons, my laptop is moving to US. Is my laptop connecting there? The printer is there in US or not? Otherwise, one more example. So one laptop is using there in US and connecting the printer available there in the US, and it is carried to India, and which is used here in India for some extended purpose there, which is also connecting to one particular printer available there in India. Which is working or not? Why? Because whatever the printer there, whatever the laptop there, whatever the device there, all are designed based on the some particular rules. That is the OSI standards, open system interconnection rules. So OSI reference model. Right. So open system interconnection, as the name suggests, it consisting of 7-layer architecture. The OSI is the 7-layer architecture. OSI is the 7-layer architecture. So what are the 7 layers? So as the name suggests, open system. Open system means one device is connecting to another device directly. So how they have to be connecting? All these both two devices are following same rules. Automatically they have to be connected well. So that's what we discussed there in the example. The laptop there in US connected to the printer there in US, which is carried out to India, connecting to the here to the another printer here available there in India also. So how it is connecting to the both printers is all the printers has to be designed for the open connection model. So that is the, so here in the OSI reference model, there are total 7 layers are there. So starting from here, physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and application layer. There are total 7 layers are there. For every device, these 7 layers has to be followed. This is the communication network. This area is the communication network. Physical layer, data link layer, network layer. So every layer has its own responsibilities, and every layer has its own protocol structures. So physical layer has some protocols, data link layer has some protocols, network layer has some protocols, transport layer has some protocols, and section layer has some protocols, presentation layer has some protocols, and finally application layer has some protocols. The protocols are there at physical layer. They are designed from some specific purpose. The protocols designed for data link layer for some specific purpose. Likewise, every layer has its own protocols, and every layer has its own working capacity. So there's some work is there for physical layer, there's some work is there for data link layer, there's some work is there for network layer, transport layer. Finally, what is the role of these 7 layers is the communication between A and B. For example, I want to transmit a message to my friend. I'm here in one network, he's there in another there in another network. I have to be transmitting one message. So how the message is transmitting from A to B? So A has to follow the 7-layer architecture and B has to follow the 7-layer architecture. So what happened there in these 7 layers is this one. The physical layer is first one, physical layer, the physical connection establishment. The connection may be wired or wireless, whatever it may be. The physical connection establishment will be done by using here with the physical layer. So the LAN connection. So what we have to be establish it to the system, what we have to be insert to the system, the connection, the physical connection is done by using this physical layer. Here the raw bit of data is entered to the system. The raw bit of data, raw bits of data is entering to the system by using this physical layer. Thereafter, the data is moving to the data link layer. So again, there in the data link layer, the data is processed and converting the raw bits of data into the valid frames, converted into the frames. Now the bits are converted into the frames in the data link layer. So what happened there in data link layer? What are the different protocols using in data link layer? That what we have to be discussed in the unit number, second part of unit number 2 and unit number 3. So what happened there in the physical layer, how the physical connection establishments are done, that what we have to be discussed in the unit number 2 in the coming video. Okay, night. So initially the physical connection establishment will done at the physical layer. So here the raw bits of data is connected. There the raw bits are converted into the frames. Thereafter the network layer, third layer is the network layer. So the responsibility of network layer is it has to identify the destination address. So here the entire the backbone of this reference model is the network layer. Excuse me 1 minute. Right. So the physical connection establishment done at the physical layer. Thereafter, data link layer converts the data bits into the frames. Next, the main role is played by the network layer, the frames into the valid packets, and transport layer packets to the segments. It has to transport the data. And what happened that we have to discuss in the next coming videos. And the session layer, it identifies on what time data has to be started transmission and how much amount of time data traveled, that what calculated by the session layer. And syntax and semantics coding encryption that was done by the presentation layer. Finally, the application layer. So user application format is done by the application layer. This is the importance of OSI reference model. So the total 7 layers are there: physical, data link, network, transport, session, presentation, and application. So, and one more is TCP/IP reference model. So already we discussed it in a compulsory there in one set OSI reference model is there. If it is not there in the question paper, automatically the second option is TCP/IP reference model. So here total 4 network interface, internet, transport, and application layers. So here the application, it allows access to the, I think Sriram Murthy sir explained well in the video number 6 about these TCP/IP. These are the different protocols and protocol architectures. These are the different layers of TCP/IP: network interface layer, network layer, transport layer, and application layer. These are the protocols. So these are the protocols related to application layer. These are the protocols related to transport layer. So TCP and UDP. So for wired communication, we are using TCP protocol. For wireless communication, we are using UDP protocol. And these are the network layer protocols, and these are the physical layer protocols. The This is the difference between OSI and TCP. Very most important one. Here, the physical and data link is combined by using network interface layer. Physical and data link layer is combined with network interface layer. Here the network layer is called it as internet layer here, which is related to internet purpose. That's why which is related to network purpose. For that purpose, here the network layer name network layer. Here the name for that network layer is internet layer. Here the physical and data link layer combined together, and here the name is network interface layer. Network interface layer in the DCP/IP means data link layer and physical layer in the OSI model. So network layer and internet layer. So same transport layer and transport layer, and all these three layers combined together and simply call it as application layer. So here 7 layers are there in OSI: application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, and physical. But coming to the TCP/IP, there are only 4 layers. That is data link and physical combined together and acting as network interface, and network name change it to internet, and transport, which is quite common, transport layer, and finally last 3 is called it as application layer. This is TCP/IP. So is the difference between OSI and TCP/IP. Very most important question in the unit number 1. With this, we successfully completed unit number 1 in computer networks. Once again, we just recall what are the important questions there in the unit number 1. So basics of computer, what is meant by computer network. So basics of computer networks. So what are the different types of connections? Peer-to-peer and client server connections. What are the different data transfer modes, data communication modes, simplex, half duplex, and full duplex? Network topologies, LAN, MAN, WAN, network connections, and finally OSI and TCP/IP. Just only 5 questions are there in this unit number 1. So which is very easy, because in scoring point of view, in examination point of view also. So you must focus on the unit number 1. Okay, thank you all of you.